just remember, all that sparkles is not gold, okay? And diamonds are usually found in the rough where they need to be worked on, polished, framed. Okay? It needs some effort, some work. Okay? So, hello and welcome to today's insight. And today's insight is about time and effort in relationships. Okay? So, what I want you guys, and how is this related to trauma? The relation with trauma is that this might take time. Okay? Any relationship, actually, if you really want to delve deeper into it, will take time. Because everyone is different from you, separate from you. So when you decide to get into a relationship with someone, it is a trauma because they have not been raised the same way you have. Except for some very specific and exceptional cases where everyone was together and they know each other and they all grew up in the same way. If you don't know each other and you come from two separate cultures or two separate families or two separate anythings, okay, towns, what have you, the people are going to be different. The two individuals who are deciding to come together are going to be different. There is going to be a moment of trial and error, a moment of learning about each other, a moment of going through the trauma of learning about someone different than you, about deciding if you are choosing them in their entirety or if you are not choosing them in their entirety. And generally, these things take time. Time, effort, sometimes even blood, sweat, and tears in the case of countries, right? Countries that go to war and decide afterwards, once they made up, things are fine, right? Kind of like a relationship. If you take it to an extreme, okay, wars are like like the individuals in the relationship fighting with each other. Okay, so if you see that as I'm trying to paint a picture, and it's just my idea, it's just the way that I see it. Now, it's like energy has bubbled up to such a point that it has to burst out of something, right? So let's just say you're boiling a pot of water and it's at boiling point and you've put a lid on it, and I mean, it's not a Presto, I don't know if you call it in English, like a cooker, a time cooker, but the time cooker is locked in so that everything, the juices, the meat, the whatever you've put into that pressure cooker stays in the pot, right? And cooks together and makes something better out of it. And what generally happens after a war, something better comes out of it, right? There's a release of the old energy that was not serving anyone, and that's how things can get better. It will take time, it'll take effort, it'll take energy, but it can get better. Now, I don't know, this is really like just a blurb, a word vomit, if you will. But in reality, relationships are hard work. You know, you can see it between the countries of this world, right? And the difficulty they are all going through at the moment against each other. They're having a clash of the dictatorship. Not necessarily dictatorship, clash of the ideologies, if you will. And imagine if being in a relationship is like a smaller version of that, right? So, and I mean, I come from a family where a lot of people tend to be hot-headed, and they're tended to be like extreme like climaxes, and where everything would just burst like a big ass bubble, right? And that's just a part of any relationship. It happens, especially if you have two people who are complete opposites or slightly complete opposites deciding to work together. At some points, they are going to clash. Now, just remember what I said at the beginning, okay? Where are diamonds found? In the rough. And what does it need? You need to polish it, work on it, and frame it for it to look pretty. You can't just take it from the ground and then be like, ha, there you go, there's a diamond. And you're like, that didn't look like a diamond. It generally will not look like a diamond until it has been polished, chipped, and all those things, right? So, as I said, it will take time. Time, effort, energy, blood, sweat, and tears. Right? So, you can't just expect a relationship to just flow. I mean, some are, but not all of them. So, you have to give it time. You have to give it the energy, the care, that it needs for it to actually bloom and get better. Now, I used to be a tarot reader, okay? And to me, what was I gonna say? I used to read tarot, okay? And there are two cards, okay? That look very similar. They're just slightly different. The Lover's card and the Devil. Okay, in traditional tarot, the depiction is very similar. Okay, there are two individuals on both sides of the card, with the Lovers has an angel between them and the Devil has the devil between them. But they both look like each other, both cards. Now, what am I getting at? Any relationship can either be good or bad. It is just how you decide to work together that will make it such. Okay? One could be obsessive, while as the other can be freeing. But for it to be freeing, you need to let people go and want to come back. But for that, you need to actually let them go. And when it's obsessive, you are restricting them. You're restricting their freedom. And that's not easy for the party being restricted and obsessed over. And now I can talk about this because I've actually been in this situation. I have been the obsessor at some point. I'm no longer in that relationship. That relationship is long gone, thank goodness, because oddly enough, the individual I was obsessing over was actually a Capricorn. And this astrology sign related to the Devil is Capricorn. Not to say that has nothing to do. It has everything to do with the fact that Capricorns, okay, tend to be obsessive over what they're doing. Very, like, I need to get this right. I want to work on this. And they're like workhorses until they get it done. That's what it means. It doesn't mean anything bad. Okay. So so when we are in the loving, free, you have free choice, it's a decision to stay with me or to leave ideology of the lovers, it's one thing gives off a more loving relationship style, while as when you are in the devil energy, you are obsessive, you're trying to keep someone back, trying to keep them next to you, and you don't give them their freedom to move and act as they please. That is not good. That you want to stay away from. You want to give everyone their freedom of choice. God has given all of us freedom of choice. Freedom of choice to make the decisions we want. So much so that God loves us so much, okay? God loves us so much and is willing to allow us to live our lives so much that He will allow us to basically dig our own graves by doing all the nasty stuff that we get obsessed over that we shouldn't be doing. Right? The 6 sins and something like that. The sins that we should stay away from. Those things, yeah. God gives us that right. It is your choice if you want to stay in it or not. Now just remember, for it to be a valid relationship, both parties need to want to keep the relationship going. If either one is no longer interested in keeping it going, you best leave it be, because there's going to be issues, and it'll be like butting heads constantly, because both parties need to want to work on it. If it's just one party, then it's gonna be problematic. So you best see if it is actually the case. Okay? So what I want you to ponder is, which relationship are you doing too much to keep the person next to you? Ponder that.